Welcome to Fear It Goes, the podcast all about taking your fears with you and doing it anyway. I'm your host, Brandy Taylor. Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome back to Fear It Goes. I am so excited to have you here today because we are going to be talking about the win-win. That's right, how to have fun in the things that we do. Because honestly, who doesn't want to have fun? I don't want every dull, boring, monotonous job that I have to do to be dull, boring, and monotonous. I want to have fun in it. And honestly, creating win-wins are the best way to do this. So recently, I had a very interesting discussion with my children. So I have two boys, and my boys are absolute avid video game players. Hello, boys today, and kids today, actually. This is a weird thing they do. They communicate with their friends through their video games. So it's like the days of going to the mall for me are now the days of being online in video games for kids today. It's so bizarre. Anyways, so we're talking about things that need to get done around the house. And I call them family contributions because everybody in the house needs to kind of contribute to being a member of the household. Because really, I'm not here to be somebody's slave, and they're not here to be served. We are looking at how to create a win-win. I believe all things in life should be win-win, whether it is intimate relationship-based, whether it is work-based, whether it is business-based, and the jobs that you take on or the clients you take or the projects you take on, it should always be win-win. Everybody should be gaining from it. And if they're not, I don't think it's really truly aligned. So we're talking about how to create win-wins. And the boys are not having a win-win scenario when it comes to doing some work around the house, some sort of cleaning or even picking up stuff after themselves. So how are we going to do this? So I'm thinking about this and I'm like, I need to create a win-win. How can we make this fun? So we sat down, we had a little powwow, and at first, it was torture. I'm fully admitting it was torture. I came up with some ideas. They didn't like them at all. And they had no ideas. And I said, look, we're not leaving here until we have something fleshed out. So then we came up with video game time. This is a win for them because I want to limit their video game time and they want more video game time. So how can we make this work? So we discuss our agreement on what we will get for each task that they do. How much time will they get? Now they're super motivated and really excited to get the task done so that they get the extra time. And I take things off my plate and don't have to worry about doing these things or fighting with them about doing these things really is more it, because now we've created a win-win scenario. They win, I win. We had something similar to this the other night. One of them really wanted video games. One of them really wanted to do something else, and I wanted to paint. So I was like, well, how are we going to create this win-win-win? So we agreed on a dynamic that worked for all three of us, and we got to do all of it. And it was the best. Everybody was so happy. Everybody was so happy because we are constantly creating win-wins. And when we create the win-win, it's fun. It can be so much more fun. It doesn't have to be so daunting. So I'm thinking about also ways to create fun in things that aren't so fun. Like, honestly, cleaning the house, it's just not fun. But can we clean the house with some music on? Yes, we can. Can we dance around and take little breaks? Yes, we can. Is there other ways that we can add fun to our day? And I will tell you, back when I was in finance, and I would be working a long day, and it would be 7 o'clock at night, and I'd been there at my office from about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's 7 o'clock, and I'm starting to get kind of burnt out, don't really want to be there anymore, but I still have work to do. So I would take a little break, and I'd have a little dance party in my office, or I'd go for a walk, or there's ways for us to implement things that we enjoy into our time so that it doesn't feel difficult, or it takes the difficulty and breaks it up. Because each time we add a win for ourselves, it just makes all tasks easier. And we want life to be a lot easier. We don't have to make it hard. That's up to us. We don't have to make any task super hard. even if you're sitting there doing spreadsheets, even if you're sitting there creating a presentation, even if you're sitting there doing something that, okay, there are certain scenarios like back when I was in finance and we would have conferences or we would have full day training events. It's a little hard to get up and do stuff or take a break or go listen to music when you're in a conference. However, I did go to the back of the room in one of them that I was at, and I did wall sits and I did leg raises, like calf raises, when I was in the back of the room because I needed to do something to break up the monotony of sitting and just listening. And sometimes we can do things like that to make things much more, or the experience much, much more fun for us than just sitting there absorbing information. So then I have to ask, what would you do in your day to break up the monotony and add some more fun? And what do you do in your household when you're combating someone who doesn't want to do the tasks at hand or the things that you want? How do you create a scenario that's a win-win? So this boils down, or that's fun. That's fun. And honestly, most people will say yes to fun because no one wants to do the shitty stuff, right? So for me, wins or fun often for me relates to, actually there's lots of fun things that I include in my life. And sometimes they're just breaks I take in small ways, like little dance parties. And honestly, there's nothing like a dance party in your kitchen at 7:30 in the morning when you just throw on music and just go, and it's just funny and it's just fun. Or, you know, at 7:30 at night when you're cleaning up the kitchen. It's just a fun way to break it up. But it also has other effects inside our body. When we have fun, we actually do some very interesting things in the body. So we actually raise our energy levels, which is fantastic. It also raises our spirit, which is fantastic. And we know that the higher vibration we have, the more aligned with ourselves we are. So what are we going to do to have some more fun? Well, we already know dance parties work well. Music in general works well. It's a great way to incorporate some fun into a day. But what about this? What if you took a little 5-minute vacation break? You sat down and you thought about the next thing you really want in your life, and you start planning out some of those great events that you want to see in your life. We love planning things that are going to move us outside of where we are today. Anything that moves us is going to be exciting. So one of my absolute favorite videos that I have saved on YouTube is, I have this fixation with goats. I don't know why, but they're so cute when they're little. So I've got some saved videos with goats when they're little. They're just the little baby billies or whatever they're called. But then my absolute favorite video, probably of almost all times, is this one with this guy who is talking to a goat. So this goat must be, I don't know, maybe a year old or something like that. And he's having this conversation. This goat and him are going back and forth. And this goat sounds like it's talking. And it's so crazy. And it's so funny that it brings me to tears. I have some of these saved for moments when I just need a little fun break. Anything we can do to lift ourselves up, like go out and hug someone. Sometimes hugging is one of the most joyous events we could bring to a day. I used to have a friend that every time we would see each other, this was back when I was in finance, and we would pass each other in the hallway. Every time we would see each other, we would stop and give each other a hug, a good, meaningful hug. And that hug just lightened and brightened everything in our day and put a smile on our face, and it was a great exchange. These are the moments we need to inspire us, to bring us out of our doldrums, joy, happiness, fun, because they all raise our vibration. So what do you do in your day that brings this? You could do something that totally takes you out of your comfort zone too. You could go out and you could give a random act of kindness that also brings lots of joy and fun to our lives. You can do it in a fun way. You can tell a joke. You can share something with someone. You can interact. It's in our engagements and encounters that we find much of our own life. We can get up and move around and just shake our bodies and do something totally silly. We can plan weekend excursions. This can be super fun too, even if it's not going to happen, even if it's just a break in that moment. You could learn something new. You could try a different language. You can sing an old song, get a makeover, doodle or draw. And I'm drawn back to the power we have when we think of something we want to see in our lives. This is so fun. Imagine the person that you are when you're in it. What will you be like? What will you be wearing? What will you drive? What will you act like? Who are the people you'll be surrounded by? What will you eat? Yes, because it reminds me of the song, If I Had $1 Million. If I had $1 million, and people, this is such a great question. If I had $1 million, what would I do? And so many people have all these ideas of what they would do with $1 million. But that song is really funny. Would I eat ketchup? Yes, I would, but I'd have Dijon ketchup or I'd have designer ketchup because it would be better. And it makes us smile and it adds some fun. So think about the things you want in your life and think about what it will be like. These are incredible ways to add fun to our day and incredibly powerful tools to really help us advance. But I can't help but go back to dancing because there is no faster, funner way to raise our spirits and give us a win. It's funny, I'm thinking about the wins too, and we've been talking about win-wins in this episode, and I think one of the best wins you can give yourself and start your day in a really awesome way is to make your bed. It seems so petty and so little and minuscule, but really what you're doing is you're giving yourself a win. You've already accomplished something and your brain's like, yes, I did that. It's like brushing your teeth. And honestly, I have to admit, singing in the shower is one of my favorite things to do to start the day. And I could sing anything and it could be terrible. And I sing in my car and I don't know half the words and it doesn't really matter because all it does is just bring us joy. Anything we can do to bring joy to our lives, our mundane, boring tasks, we should do something that brightens that moment. So it doesn't feel so hard and so heavy and such a struggle because everything with us is mindset. And everything with us is perspective. So what lens can we put on it that's more playful? And honestly, think like a kid. We were so smart when we were little. We just didn't think we were. And we grow up to be these serious adults. And we forget to have fun. And fun is really what makes life so great. And fun is what really takes the tough, mundane, boring out of anything we do. So what did you do as a kid that was really fun? Maybe for you it was like me. I loved a Slinky. So I keep a Slinky on my desk. When I was writing my novel, I wrote a novel in 1 month, and it was a lot of work. And anyone who says writing a novel, I'm going to write a novel one day if I had time, it's not about having time. It's about making time. And trust me, I made the time, but it didn't make the task easy. And there were days I would be writing and thinking to myself, oh my God, I can't believe I'm writing this. This feels like crap. So what did I do? I set myself little games within the process. And let me tell you how fun this became and how much easier it became to write. And the flow of words came so much faster and so much more efficiently and so much easier because I made it fun. So I would set little timers and I would write as many words as I could in 10 minutes. Or actually, this was kind of a funny one. So I had these kid rings. Yes, I had little plastic rings sitting beside my computer. So when I was writing the bad guy, when I wrote the antagonist, I had this one ring. And sometimes I'd put it on, or sometimes I'd just have it on this little toy soldier because he was a bad guy. And I would just look at that, and then it would kind of make me smile. Or I'd have my superpower ring, which was another cheapy little 25-cent bubblegum ring, whatever they are, was a kid ring. And it was like this pink stone ring. It was so ridiculous. But honestly, it was really fun and it helped the process go much, much easier. And don't we want to have things in our life that becomes easy instead of difficult or much more fun and it flows quicker because it's fun and it doesn't feel tough? How can you add fun to your day? I love painting. I don't do it often enough. And I just recently had that moment with the kids where we had win, 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 and we painted. And let me tell you, for two boys that love video games, we had such a delightful time, all of us with our canvas, painting whatever it was we wanted to do. One is a little bit addicted to Gucci right now. Ask me how an 11-year-old is so familiar with Gucci. I don't know, but he is. So he drew out Gucci. He went and hunted down what he wanted his picture to look like, and then he drew it and painted it, and it turned out great. The other one painted something kind of offhand, and he said, this kind of looks like a flag. He goes, I don't want to leave it like this. I think I want to do some splatter on this. And then we did some splatter work, and it was so fun. It was so fun to just like rip paint off and whip it off the paint brushes in all these different colors, and his painting looks amazing. And then mine, I tried a whole different type of medium I've never used before. I'm familiar with oils, and I'm familiar with watercolors, and I'm familiar with acrylics, but this one is something that's typically used on glass. It's not usually used on canvas. It's very tacky. It has very different texture. So I had no idea what it was going to be like on the canvas. And I tried it, and it turned out beautiful. It looks really, really neat. But it was really awesome to sit down and do this, and all of us enjoyed it. Sometimes just writing something, just taking 5 minutes, 5 little minutes from whatever task you're doing can make the world of difference in your day. Take the time. For some people, maybe it's going to be mindfulness. This isn't the fun. Well, it can be fun. I think it's incredible to meditate. I teach meditation, and I meditate on a daily basis. And there is massive power in being able to align ourselves. And we have incredible things that feed through us that way. And we can be extremely creative in those moments. But even just to take 5 minutes to just do a little bit of breathing, or a little bit of stretching, or a little bit, like I said, get up and move your body. Power. Give yourself the power to really move your day in efficient, fun, great, powerful ways. All right, my peeps. That's my rant on fun, win-wins, creating movement in our lives that really have impact and help us out. So think like a kid and take a little kid break for a few minutes and take a few of those a day. You'll notice your attitude will lighten, and you'll notice the way that you perceive your world around you will be much happier. Just go out and be a kid. Next week, we have an incredible lineup with a specific gentleman who has lived quite an interesting life, holding back parts of who he was and the way that he's turned it around to empower himself and the people around him. What an extraordinary human being he is. I cannot wait to share his story because I want to share every story with you. Now, a little update on the sex series. I've told you it's coming. It is. So I started recording, and I can't even express to you how excited I am to bring this to you. Oh my God. So fun. So strap on, because I'm telling you, we might be talking about some strap-ons. I'm not totally sure yet. That interview is coming, and it's coming next week. So yeah, the conversations are crazy. It's going to be so fun. So fun. Anyways, my beautiful peeps, thank you so much for tuning in to Fear It Goes. Until next week, love us. Send us comments. Come to fearitgoes.com. Check out what we're doing. Sign up for our courses. Ask me questions. And please, if you have ideas for the podcast, drop them in the comments below. That would be amazing. And I would love to hear from you. Give us 5 stars, because you know I love those. And until next week, my beautiful souls, remember, go out, be a kid, and have an absolutely extraordinary week.